Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me for this part four, the final part of the creative recruiting reboot. This is the last part, and I am just trying to set up my screen as I start filming here. I got to make sure I can see all my windows and all the things I need to look at while I'm talking to you guys. Oh, there we go. I got it to work this time. Sometimes my screens just don't want to work for me. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Let's do this so that I can see what I'm looking at. So thank you. I hope you've joined me for all four sessions. If you haven't, go ahead and watch the first three sessions. This is the final session in the boot camp. This is the reboot, not the boot camp. The boot camp usually takes place over it's over a 5-day period. So trying to get everything in this small amount of time has been interesting for us, I think, for my whole team. And there's just a lot going on right now with my center. And so it's a lot, but this is very important for you guys to hear. I know the struggle that's happening out there, and we had so many of you requesting this that we really wanted to make sure we have this available to you. So thank you once again. For those of you that might be catching this for the first time, my name is Evelyn Knight. I am the host of the Childcare Business Coach podcast. I'm also the founder and CEO of Childcare Business Professionals, which is a company that helps childcare centers find success while prioritizing high quality research based standards. I'm also a childcare center owner myself. So I live the life that you guys live. Anything I bring to you, we use my center is the incubator, and we try it first. I study the industry a lot. I study where people's brains are, basically, because my background is actually in neuropsychology. That's where my education is from. And so I really look into, okay, how are people thinking right now? How are people viewing the world? And then I look at the problems we have. I combine the business knowledge I have with the psychology knowledge, and I come up with solutions. And that's pretty much what I bring to you and to my members out there. So that is pretty much what we are doing here today, is talking about why can we not hire, right? So if this is the first session you've joined, make sure you go if you didn't see last year's boot camp, right, which was December, right? It was in 2021, but it was just a month ago. It feels like it was so long ago. If you missed that boot camp and you haven't seen any of the creative recruiting that I've done, any of the sessions I've done, make sure to go back and watch the last 3 videos. There's a lot of information. I don't want to recap too much. I recapped this morning on everything we did, but it is really important and great information that you really do need. I'm going to share my screen really quick just so I can show you guys the workbook that I'm going off of in case you don't have it yet. Let's see. Let me just share my window. I don't need to share the entire screen. But this is basically what the workbook looks like. And if you don't have it, let one of my team members know. You should be hopefully working with a team member. They will help you out. This will really get you through to what needs to be done. So it'll just help you to get all your thoughts. What I teach is literally right here within this workbook. And there you go. So we're going to be really focusing today on turning your program into a category of 1 and how you can do that, improving your quality so that you're offering a job that people are proud to work for. You're offering a job that people brag about. So it really helps to attract other people into your atmosphere, right? You really want to change the trajectory of your center in order to be successful. And that's what you're really working on. So basically, you really want to look at the big picture. And earlier today, if you watched this morning's session, I challenged you and I asked you, what would you need to work for your center? And I'm going to take my earpiece out really quick because my cell phone is going off the hook right now, and I can't concentrate talking. at my center that were occupied. It's just the world. Let's see. I am so sorry, you guys. It looks like I lost my internet connection. I'm hoping I am back now. I'm just going to, again, it has been awful. And I even just switched over to my, I'm using one of my, I have two cell phones. One of them I just am using for a hotspot. So hopefully this works a little bit better. It looks like my connection is better, but thank you. I see you. Welcome back. So I didn't pop away, didn't I? And now I'm back. So I'm so sorry about that, you guys. I'm going to just pop on my cell phone just to make sure that you guys can see everything okay. I do apologize. I'm going to have to find a better solution. This week, my internet access has been awful those whole week. So we are going to have to come up with a solution for that. When I have to use my hotspot instead, that is just a little crazy. So let me double check, make sure that I am live. I'm just going to keep an eye on it here. Yeah, looks like I'm good. Okay. Thank you, everybody. And let me know if you guys are having a hard time hearing anything's going on. Just let me know. But with recruiting, back to recruiting. So really just make sure that you guys are watching the other sessions. You know what's going on because some of it you might be a little bit lost today as I talk through what we're going to be going through today. So basically, you want to be the program that people want to work for, right? Regardless of what job they're going for, you want them to choose your center because even if you write the best job opening ad in the world, even if you have your entire staff out there recruiting, if you don't have a good work environment, you're just going to lose the employees, or you're going to go through the interview, show the employees what you have to offer, and they're not going to want to work for you, right? So earlier today, I challenged you to walk around your child care center and ask yourself, is this a place I would want to work? Am I a leader I want to work for, right? And if the answer is no, I challenge you to start changing that, to do something to change it, right? So focusing on improving your quality, focusing on improving your leadership style is absolutely key when it comes to really focusing on becoming the next best version of yourself when it comes to your center, right? When you are the leader that people want to follow, and your center becomes the center that people want to work for, you are going to be absolutely amazed at how many people you attract into your ecosystem, how people, just by your reputation, are going to want to work for you. What will end up also happening is you're going to sift through those people that you don't want, right? When we went through this transformation, we did lose people. We absolutely did. When we leveled up, there were people who didn't want to level up. In fact, I actually had a staff member tell us and told my assistant director that they don't want to work for a place where they are expected to perform. They don't want anyone holding them to standards. That's literally what they said. And I just felt like, well, I'm glad that you're leaving because we really don't want people working here that don't want to live up to expectations, right? That isn't up to my standards. So you're going to notice that you'll start aligning with the right people. So again, we've been talking over these last 2 days about who are those right people? How do you attract them? How do you identify them, right? Those are so core and key to know. So, in order to really dive deep, you've got to know your values. You've got to know your vision, right? And then you're going to know who you're recruiting. You're going to turn your center into that center of the culture you want, the philosophy you want, the vision. And that is going to open the door to so many opportunities to attract those right people, right? So, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about leveling up because in our industry, we so often see people coming in and just not accepting ourselves as professions, right? Professionals. We do it to ourselves. We have all these childcare centers and we allow gossip within our center. We allow people not to dress appropriately, right? We allow them to literally look like they just rolled out of bed when they come into work, right? But we don't hold them to standards and we don't hold ourselves to standards of professionalism. A lot of leaders I see engage in the gossip. They go from one classroom to another and they are actually engaging and they're encouraging and or they're belittling their staff or but they a lot of leaders are the problem, right? So we need to really level up ourselves and we need to demand the professionalism and the respect from our staff. A lot of them will appreciate it and some of them will leave. But when we do this, what ends up happening is you start attracting the right people and suddenly that team that you have does become your dream team, right? I actually do a series that's called creating your dream team with the team that you already have. And I am doing it this year. I will be doing a course on that where basically I give you the steps of taking the team that you have today and turning them into that amazing dream team. Because I've told you guys earlier that I once walked into my center and wanted to fire everybody in there. And through a process, I realized it was me, not them. It was me. So a lot of you already have that stellar staff, but it's your leadership that is lacking. A lot of you are not attracting and you can't recruit because you as a leader, you're just not there yet. Or you may know and have that but your center isn't there yet. You don't have those procedures and processes in place that makes your center a place that people want to work for. And I know that's hard to stomach and accept, but it's the truth, right? So if you see yourself as that professional and you know in your heart, if you've been watching my videos and you resonate with the things I've told you guys about how important the work we do is, we do the most important work in the world, right? And if you know that in your heart and you understand that this is the most important profession in the world, it doesn't matter that we can't pay high wages. The job we do is the most important job in the world. It is absolutely a professional organization and it needs to be seen as such. But I don't know how to take my center to that level. What do I do to make my center that category of one? How do I turn my center into that place that employees want to come and work at? That my staff doesn't want to leave because they appreciate the environment, right? Because recruiting is great, everybody. It is wonderful. But what's more important than recruiting is retaining the staff that you have. If you retain the staff that you have and you don't have that constant revolving door, that turns out to be so much more impactful and so much more economical. It's actually cheaper in the long run than it is to constantly hire, right? Let's see. Samantha says, we as directors or owners need to check ourselves. Oh my goodness, you have no, yes, Samantha, as well as do an analysis. Absolutely. Because honestly, everything starts from the top and it does trickle down. And when you step into that leadership role and you do become the leader that you can be, everything does start to fall into place, right? And you really do start attracting that staff. You will lose people, but that's a good thing. I know a lot of you are terrified to lose staff. I know with a lot of my clients, they're just like, yes, this staff member is such a pain. They're causing so much dissension, and there's so many people that are leaving because of this one staff member. And this one staff member basically creates this bandwagon and just they are a cancer within the center, right? I talk to so many people who know this. When I say to whenever one of my clients comes to me and they're like, this is a problem I'm having in my center. Satisfaction is low. I'm having a lot of issues here. A lot of times I will ask them, I'll ask them who is at the bottom of this. And then I'll tell them, you have a cancer in your center. There is one person, sometimes possibly two, but usually it's one person that is the cancer, and it is spreading. They're causing this cancer to spread. You need to identify them. And I always say, I know somebody just popped into your head, and some of you guys watching right now, right? As I say that, one of your staff members pops into your mind. This is the staff member taking my entire culture down. They got to go. They've got to go, because you're not going to be able to recruit the right people. You're not going to attract the right people, and you're never going to turn your center into a category of one if you keep those people on board. I recorded a podcast episode that's called When It's Time to Say Goodbye. And it really focuses on my journey through that. I had a staff member that I knew in my heart was cancerous, but she was an excellent teacher. She was a phenomenal teacher, but she was cancerous to the rest of my staff. Because of that teacher, I lost two of my best staff members ever, right? Because she was planting these seeds of doubt in their head and making them feel like I didn't care and I wasn't a good boss. So not only in the long run did I lose that cancerous teacher, but she ended up causing me to lose two excellent teachers, right? And had I just dealt with the situation at hand, I wouldn't have lost any of the two that I needed to keep. I also see now in retrospect how people like that make the work environment so hard that rumors start to float around about your center, and people don't want to work for you when rumors like that start floating around, right? So making sure you control your environment, that you have the culture that other people want to work for, that you are the leader that people want to follow, that you inspire and people want to work for you because of your reputation, is key to recruiting. And yes, it can happen. I've accomplished it within my center, right? And so you can too. It's really a matter of just taking that into your hands. If that is something that it sounds wonderful, but you don't know what to do with it, how to do it, get a hold of one of my team members. Each one of you guys should have a concierge that's been helping you out. Let them know that you want to know more about how we can help you with this. That is what my company does. We help owners and directors learn how to level up their centers, right? I have an entire membership site that is full of pre-recorded trainings that I've done with my clients that basically helps you learn how to become a better leader. It helps you learn how to recruit. I have more trainings than this on the actual recruiting process. I have trainings on the interview process. So you find this one amazing person, or you put this amazing ad out there that is attracting, but then how do you know what to do during the interview process, right? How do you know that the person you're actually hiring is going to stick? Because to be honest with you, just do a Google search. And in your Google search, type in how to interview for a job. You will literally get thousands of videos that is teaching people how to act and put on a mask so that you don't know who they are during a job interview, right? When people come into a job interview, they are literally wearing a mask. They are actors. That is not who you're hiring. Job interviews do not do very much. They're basically performing. You're looking at a performer, right? So in my training, I do have questions that I base on the psychology of a person to really get into their brain and how their brain works, and really sift through those people who are going to be gossip issues, who are going to be combative, who don't, who have problems with authority, right? And I've trained my members on how to sort through these people. And yes, I see that is sad. It is sad, but it is the reality. I mean, it is how people are. It is human nature. And to be honest with you, I know as sad as that is, but you and I would do the same thing, right? Because we know that when we're interviewing for something, we're there to impress somebody, and we should be putting our best foot forward, right? So it's also a red flag if somebody comes in too real, because they should be trying to impress us, right? They should be on their best behavior, putting their best face forward. So if they come in wearing booty shorts, a tank top, and flip-flops, we have a problem. That is not, if this is their best face, or if they don't care, then how are they going to treat the children? So that's kind of a double-edged sword, where we want that transparent honesty, but at the same time, we want somebody who's also trying to impress us. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but from a psychology standpoint, you do want somebody who is trying to impress you, because if they're too real, they're probably going to have problems with authority, and they couldn't care less what you or anyone else is going to think. And we do want them to care about their job performance. So, but unfortunately, there's so much out into the world today that it's very difficult for us to get a clear picture when we are recruiting. Very difficult. You can have 1,000 different interviews come in, and trying to figure out which one to pick is really hard. And that's why I'm sure every single one of you watching has performed a job interview where you thought you were hiring the most stellar person that you interviewed, and they turned out to be nothing like you thought they were going to be. All of the things that they told you during their interview, you realized was basically just blowing smoke. They turned out to be nothing. I'm sure every one of you, let me know in the comments if you can relate to that, because I know it's happened to me where I thought, wow, I'm hiring this amazing person, and it just turns out not to be so amazing. But that's why recruiting is a better technique anyway, because you're really getting to see these people out in the world. So if you didn't watch my video from earlier today, make sure you watch that. I do talk about how to recruit instead of hire in detail. I really get into detail on the things to look for, and how, yeah, Lisa, yes, made it less than 90 days. Yes, I know. So look at those characteristics, because a lot of times when you're getting to know people out in the real world, you are seeing their true face, right? But every now and then we do have to post and do the traditional job interview. And when you do, it's important to know how to see through the lies. It's really important. And that is something I teach my members, as well as a lot of other things. I also teach my members how to onboard, because once you go through all of this recruiting, and you've been through all, you've got the person, you found them, and now you've hired them. What do you do with them then? Hopefully you don't just throw them in the classroom and expect them to survive. That's like throwing meatballs against the wall and hoping they stick, right? So instead, what we end up doing is we onboard ours. For my program, we have a 6-month onboarding process, because studies show that it takes about 6 months for a person to really assimilate into their job. If you can assimilate someone into your centrist culture, and if your centrist culture is like a family, you have a much greater chance of them staying with you long term for 5+ years, right? My average staff member at this point has been with us, right, for about 5 years plus. I have staff members that have been with me for 15 years that have just, they stick with me. And part of it is because the biggest part is my vision, because they buy in so deeply into my vision that it becomes a part of them too. It becomes their vision. The second thing is that we do feel like family, and that loyalty becomes so strong, right? My loyalty to them is as strong as their loyalty to me. So being that leader is so very important. If you also doubt your ability to be that leader, That's another thing that we can help you with. My membership team, and that is something I really, really focus on a lot, on how to be a mentor and coach and how to become and step into that leadership role and become the leader that people want to follow. In fact, I'm currently doing a series for my future directors right now that all of my members are a part of. I am literally training my directors for centers that I'm having built. They are actually assistant directors and supervisors within my programs that are actually learning as we speak how to be my next directors, right? I invite all my members of Child Care Business Professionals to be a part of that. Every Thursday at 9 a.m. we meet, and my Child Care Business Professionals clients get to be a part of the training that I do with my future directors, on top of the tons of different trainings that we have pre-recorded on time management, um, leadership, financial responsibilities of ownership and directing a center. There's just so many things. We even do have things on life coaching, classroom management. There's so much that my membership has to offer. So if you want to become that category of one and you understand that you have this need, that you are not attracting the right people, they're just not coming and knocking on your door, you're not attracting the right customers, right? You just don't understand why you can't keep your enrollment up, you don't understand why you can't keep staff employed, then talk to your concierge, talk to one of my people about joining my program. I am a child care center owner. Everything I teach within my membership are they're techniques that I've used myself and that we use at my center. I've literally had people come in from the country. I live in Nevada. I've had people fly from as far as Connecticut to tour my child care center and just to learn from my child care center. And that is what I teach my members. I open it up to them to see what it's like and to give them that knowledge so that they can basically duplicate what I do. Um, oh, yes. Yeah, I see a comment. Yes, makes me question how I am reading people. Absolutely. Because in our society, social media, unfortunately, has given us this huge opportunity to learn how to act the way we want to be seen during job interviews, right? So, yeah, it's very, very hard. So, I do train my members on basically questions to ask, and more importantly, the answers you want to look for and the answers you want to avoid, right? And they're pretty simple when you break down. There's subtle nuances in people's answers that are really going to help you to see really beneath that person. For example, if you one of the things we ask is, tell me what you would change about your last supervisor. And if somebody answers something simple like, I wish they spoke more softly, that's fine. But if they say, well, this is how they could have done their job better, and then they start giving you list of things that they could have done to been better, and if I were them, I would have done this, and if I were them, I would have done this. That is somebody that's going to be combative. They're going to be combative. They're going to have problems with authority, and they're not going to want to follow what you have to say. So those are people that they're red flag people. So there's so much that we have to be careful for and look for, and that is all stuff that I do teach in my membership. So again, if you really want to get your childcare center to that category of one, if you want to learn how to become that leader that people want to follow, if you want to be that center that doesn't have to post for advertising, make sure you get a hold of your concierge, let them know that you want help with these things, and they can let you know about our membership program. They can let you know what it is that we do and what we have to offer and how we can help you get to that level in your own business. I would be more than happy to help you guys. And again, make sure you watch this whole series. What we do in the series, I basically tackle in every aspect of operating a child care center. Whether you're a director or an owner, it basically applies to both of you. I have coaches that also come alongside and work with you. That basically monthly you can choose if you need a life coach to really help you with your mindset, because it really does start with us, right? In our own minds. How do we perceive different things? How are we going to move forward? I help with business operations. I have my director, Brandy, will help directors learn how to be that great director that they can be and just really streamline their center and save their own time, taking back your own time. I know so many of you, I think the biggest desperate need I hear from directors and owners is time management. You feel like you just don't have time to do it all. And I know COVID makes it difficult right now. There's so much that's coming at us, but we do have time. We all have time. For those of you who've been watching me for a while, you know this time last year, I was a full-time nurse to my husband, and I run two businesses. And I always say, if I had time to be a full-time nurse caring for my husband and run two businesses while being a mom, you've got time too. It's how you manage your time, right? I'm still running two businesses and I have time. So it's really, how do you respect your time? How do you run your time? That's basically the things that you really want to look for when it comes to time management. So connect that so we can get much more in depth. This recruiting bootcamp, I hope it helps. I really hope it helps to change the trajectory of your childcare center, which I really do believe it can. I know it can. It works for my center. It works for countless staff members and my clients. But if you really want to see your entire center transform, not just the recruiting, but your entire center transform to this wonderful, amazing center, that your dream center, let us know. I actually, once upon a time, years ago, when I started doing my own vision work, and I basically, the way I go through life in general is I always have a 10-year plan, right? Right now, I am 3 years into my current 10-year plan. But years ago, I created a 10-year plan. And one of the things I do is I tell myself, if I had a magic wand, what would my child care center look like? And I do this in every aspect of my life. The first time I did this, I thought about it in terms of my child care center. And I sat down and I thought to myself, if I had a magic wand, what would my center look like? And I wrote down, what would it smell like? What would it feel like? What sounds would I hear? I pictured myself walking from classroom to classroom, and I wrote down what I would see, the type of interactions I would see, the type of activities, the type of supplies, everything, just in detail, right? When I first wrote that, I looked at it and thought, this is a pipe dream. This is my unicorn. It's never going to happen, but wouldn't it be amazing, right? Put it up. That was like my 10-year dream goal, right? 6 years in, I happened to find that. Now I read this at least once a week, but back then I didn't. But I ran into the journal that I wrote that in 6 years later. And as I was reading through it, I was absolutely amazed, because what I thought was my unicorn, what I thought would never happen, was the center I have today. It was the center that I walk through every time I'm at my childcare center today. And the reason that is because I put so many things into place, so many policies, procedures, and I really streamlined my center. I learned how to duplicate myself. I learned how to take my processes and procedures and automate them, right? And that is what I teach my clients to do. So if you're at that stage in your career where you're ready to be at that next level, you want that 5-star program. You want that program that people fight to get into. You want that program that employees are proud to say they work for, and that your employees are actually recruiting for. Then let my team members know. Let them know that you want more information about becoming a member, and we would be happy to talk to you about that. It is my goal in life to touch 1,000 centers, that I want to see 1,000 centers become financially successful and have high quality research-based standards, just the highest quality. The reason I want that is because my overall arching goal is to make sure that all children, regardless of their socioeconomic conditions, have access to high quality care and education. All children deserve to be loved. They all deserve to be nurtured. And no matter who their parents are, what neighborhood they're from, how much money their parents make, every single one of them deserves to be in a high quality center. So if I can get into 1,000 centers, I can help 1,000 directors and owners. I can affect, even if they just have 10 teachers and those 10 teachers have 10 children, I'm affecting 1,000,000 children's lives. And that is the mission I'm on. I'm on a mission to help 1,000 childcare centers level up so that I can touch 1,000,000 children's lives. So if that's something you want to be a part of, let us know. We would be so happy to join you into our team, into our network, and help you to level up. My membership, the members in my group are amazing too. Every Tuesday, we have my office hours. So every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I jump on Zoom and I just work with my members. They jump on, they pick my brain, work through problems. And I have to say, the members I have are amazing women. This morning, we were working through COVID issues, right? All of us seem to be dealing with high numbers of COVID right now. So each one of us were just walking through problems. And it always makes me so happy when somebody will ask me a question, but my members have so much amazing insight that I just sit back and listen to how amazing they are. We are definitely a think tank of high level owners and directors, not just owners. There's also directors in there. And basically, we just problem solve together. We problem solve and come up with the best solutions for our program every Tuesday. So if that's something you think you would love to be a part of, just that higher level ownership, director, running of the center, let us know. That's just one small piece of my membership that we do every week together. We also train together every week. I have my mindset trainings every week, and I have hours upon hours of pre-recorded training videos. Plus, I have so many coaches at your disposal that you can work with, whether you decide to do a dual membership with Prainer Richards and I, or you want to work with my life coach, Angie Leslie, or with me on operations, or my director. I'm just starting to hire somebody on who is an expert on church-based centers and who also knows how to run multiple programs. She's been a regional director and she's opened several programs for her company. So I have so many resources for you guys that you guys can come into. We also have monthly trainings on classroom management and behavior management, and also financial support on how to really understand the financial side of your business. So if that's something you're interested in, let your team member know that is working with you. Whoever invited you to watch this video, that is your concierge. Their number one job is to make sure that you are being successful through this boot camp, right? And if, as my members, every single one of my members also have somebody on my success team to make sure that they are finding the success and getting all the resources that they need. They have literally their own concierge through the whole process. So let us know. We would be so happy to join you into our program. And the last thing I'm going to leave with you guys with is, for me, myself, I always work with a business coach. Absolutely always will. And before, I was actually a failing owner. I was facing bankruptcy. And I didn't think I could afford to work with a business coach. But I realized one day that either I was going to hire someone who was going to help me level up, who was going to help me transform, or I was going to go bankrupt and I was going to lose my center. And that is when I hired my own business coach. And when I did, it really transformed my business. Not only did it get me out of filing bankruptcy, but it helped me to level up to that next level. Because of the struggle and the hardship I went through then, I decided to start my own coaching company so I could help other centers not feel the way I did. It took me years to figure all the things out that I figured out, right? It cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars through mistakes and learning the hard way how to get things done. So now what I bring to you is the proven methods that have worked for me, so that you don't have to go through losing hundreds of thousands of dollars on trying and failing, right? And instead, you can just come straight in and use the techniques that work at my childcare center. Why try and reinvent the wheel? Why spend your hard-earned money on experimenting on things that don't work? You might as well invest now into our program, use my techniques that are proven to work, and transform your center without wasting the years and the money that it takes to figure it out on your own, right? Even if you've been in this program for 20, I have owners in my membership that have been owners and directors for over 20 years. And they're just figuring out now that they should have done this years ago. They should have got a business coach years ago because they've lost so much money and time, so much time, right? They have allowed their center to consume so much of their time when there is a better way. You don't have to be married to your center. Your center does not need to take away from your family's time. You just need procedures that are clear, documented, and clear expectations that are documented. That's it. It doesn't have to be that way. Your center does not have to be a place that you dread going into every day. It can be a place that you love again. I once upon a time thought I wanted to sell my center, and it broke my heart to be there. I couldn't do it anymore. And thank God, God brought me to my business coach who helped me transform. I've since leveled up a couple times, but I will always have a coach. And every time I do, I just try to find the next best. But I know if I'm always going to be better, I need to find that person who is just where I want to be. I look at that person who emulates where I want to be. So when I'm looking at the plans I have and I know where I want to go, I find that person who's achieved it and I hire them. Those are the coaches I work with. So if you want that successful center, I've done it. I can teach you how. So make sure that you get with your concierge so we can let you know how you can become a part of our program and you can get your center to the level I've got in mind too. That way people do want to come work for you and it's not such a challenge to enroll and recruit anymore. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. My team will be keeping up with the chat. We'd be happy to speak with you. Let your concierge know also. They will message me and let me know. I'm more than happy to answer questions, and make sure that you get on a phone call with them. If you would like more information about working with us, we would love to help you level up. Have a great evening, everybody.